Senator Duniam.
Thank you, Mr Acting Deputy President. I wanted to, tonight on the adjournment debate, pay tribute to the participants, the members of three industries that I have the honour of representing as the Assistant Minister for Fisheries and Forestry and Assistant Minister for Regional Tourism, who are nothing short of amazing and resilient people in the face of the devastation of the bushfires that we've experienced this summer, but also coupled with the impacts of the subsequent outbreak of the coronavirus. Since New Year's Eve, since the fires have been at their worst and, of course, since the outbreak of the coronavirus, I've spent a great deal of time working with stakeholders from all three of these sectors and understanding from them exactly how much these two sets of events have impacted on their industries, the people that work in those industries, the communities that they support, and to understand from them how the Morrison government can support them to make sure that these industries, which are so critical to the economies of regional communities across this country, can be sustained into the future. Starting with forestry, I think, as has already been noted in debates that have taken place in this chamber today, the forestry industry was hit so terribly hard by these bushfires this summer. In the state of New South Wales, if you look at the area around Tumut and Tumbarumba, where 58,000 hectares of forest resources had been burnt as a result of these bushfires, that's around 40%, nearly half of the harvestable resources in those areas impacted by fires. That is going to have a lasting impact for this industry. Tumut, a community which is a forestry town, a population of around 7,000 or 8,000 people, 5,000 people directly or indirectly depend on that industry for their employment. So the support that's going to be provided by the government through the loans that are available to small businesses, the grant programs to both primary industry entities and small businesses are going to go a long way. And there will be more to be announced in the future to support these sectors to make sure they can continue to grow. And we had a bushfire roundtable here in Parliament House last Thursday, and there are around 40 people who attended. And we've got some great ideas, and I look forward to working with the industry to make sure it remains vibrant, it remains resilient, and, unlike the wishes of some, particularly the Australian Greens, a strong part of our community and our economy into the future. Similarly with the fisheries sector, of course there were some immediate impacts felt as a result of the bushfires, with infrastructure impacts, routes of transport impacting on capacity to get freight out of communities where fishing occurs and product to market. Of course, power cuts as well, preventing capacity to store fresh produce, particularly seafood, for periods of time before it's distributed. Coupled then with the coronavirus. When it rains it pours, they say, and of course one example, the Tasmanian southern rock lobster industry, which is quite a lucrative industry, but one that is very trade exposed to China. When China closed their borders to items such as southern rock lobster, 95% of that product is sent to China for consumption. This has had a devastating impact on that one fishery, and that is just one of many. And the number of jobs impacted, the people who do depend on the fisheries industries for their employment in these regional communities, we need to be able to support them as best we can. And I note Senator Urquhart and Senator Ciccone are great supporters of this industry, as they are the forestry sector as well, and I'm pleased that they agree with me in how important it is to support these sectors. Tourism, though, Mr Acting Deputy President, is one that has had a double hit of epic proportions, particularly in the regions. First, people overseas seeing Australia on fire and choosing not to make bookings to come visit Australia, spend their time and their money here. That was bad enough, but with coronavirus affecting our Asian markets the way it has, this double whammy has had a significant impact on small to medium and even large tourism entities right across the country. So the $76 million package that was announced by the Minister for Tourism, Simon Birmingham, and myself just a few weeks back will go a long way to helping these industries make sure that they can survive the onslaught that comes out of these disasters. International marketing to let people know we're open for business, domestic marketing, convincing people that they need to holiday here this year, plus with the regional events and attractions program, I hope we see some great things happen across our community, particularly in the tourism, fisheries and forestry sectors.